Happy Rom-Com Month, everybody. We are doing 28 Days of Love. Today is day 28. It's double feature
Mm.
day, and we're going to talk about the holiday. I'm your host, Melissa Forziat. I'm a keynote speaker, and when I speak, my topic is something I call Take the Doughnut, which is another way to say Carpe Diem. And that comes from this weird thing that happened in college. I left an actual donut on a table, but that became an object lesson for me and what it looks like to leave an opportunity behind. So now I want to take the donut instead of leaving it behind. So the reason I'm saying that is that from time to time, I'll issue myself a take the donut challenge. I'll say there's something that I want to go after. I'll make it official. It's a way to hold myself accountable to it. And this time, I'm opening it up to anybody who wants to join. So we're here for 28 days of love, 28 days of rom-com movies. Again, today is day 28. We're going to talk about the holiday today. I'm going to share 10 things I love about the movie The Holiday, but I'm not doing this alone. No, no. I have a very special guest today. This is Katy Metoyer, the owner of Sugar
Hi.
Dayne Cookies, one of the top
Yay.
cookie decorators in the US. Welcome.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. When you approached me with this, I was like, I'm down. The Holiday is hands down my favorite movie of all time in any genre.
Oh my goodness. And I think we
Yeah.
can see from your background why this you're exactly the right person to talk about this movie. Christmas cookies, holiday cookies. This is
Yep.
a match made in heaven, really. But you did say this was your favorite, and tell us without spoiling your list of things that you love about the film, what's your journey with this film?
Actually, it's funny you ask because I this came out in probably right before the holiday of 2006. And I was pregnant with my second son, Miles, which is like, oh my God, his name is Miles. And then there's Miles in the movie, which was just so random. Um, and he came 7 weeks early and he came on Christmas morning. I had a C-section and it was rough. He was a little guy, he was in the NICU. And anyway, so once he came home from the NICU, I watched the movie. I watched it right before he was born, and then I watched it probably every night for 30 nights because you're up late with the baby, and he was 3 pounds, and I just would sit with him and just watch that movie and just get lost in just the romance and just the cute storylines and stuff. So, and then, he was born on Christmas Day and his name is Miles. And that was just a random coincidence. So yeah, I love the holiday.
What an amazing legacy that movie has in your life.
Yeah.
This is I'm so glad we're talking about this one. Yeah, this is just perfect. Well, how are we going to talk about this today, you may be asking? So we're going to do a top 10 list. I'm going to do the even numbers. Katie's going to do the odd numbers. We're just going to share some things we like about the movie and see what discussion comes from that. And before we do that, a little bit of background on the movie. Like Katie just said, this came out in 2006. It was written and directed by Nancy Meyers. It stars Kate Winslet as Iris, Cameron Diaz as Amanda, Jude Law as Graham, Jack Black as Miles, Eli Wallach as Arthur, and then also Edward Burns as Ethan, Rufus Sewell as Jasper. I wanted to sort of include all those folks because it's
Of
a
course.
pretty deep cast roster here.
Yeah.
So that's who's in this movie. And, we're going to share some things we love about it. They could be small details, they could be big things, big themes. And I'm going to start off with a small detail for number 10. Fettuccine. I cannot hear the word, think about it, or eat fettuccine without thinking about this movie. It's like the cheer up food of the movie.
Yes.
And they make it just look like such a good comfort item. It's fettuccine and the holiday for me are permanently linked together, and both of them are associated with comfort for me. So
Is fettuccine the Christmas Eve dinner? Let me make you some fettuccine.
that's
Or is it the
that's
Hanukkah party?
when
I mean,
it's when he's cheering her up. She was supposed to
yes.
cheer him up. He's going to cheer her up. And anyway, they
Yeah.
eat fettuccine.
Yeah. And he's like, are
And
you ready, Simpkins? I'll make you some fettuccine.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, okay. So number 10 is a small detail with the fettuccine. But what do you have for number nine?
Gosh, okay, well, I have so many, but let's say square peg, round
Hmm.
hole, square peg. Wait, whatever doesn't fit together. And, it's like literally that guy Jasper is telling her, you know, but she just still loves him anyway. You know, and she's like square, what is it?
Square peg, round hole.
Square peg, round hole. Like, how many times have we been in that position in our lives? Like in relationships and anything, work, like anything. So yeah, that's a good one for me.
I hear you.
Hmm.
I love that as we get further into the movie, she actually when he comes to California to see her, she actually
Yeah,
has to say out loud, wait, let me translate that a couple times because it's like
yeah,
and that's I think that's a really realistic thing that happens once your
yeah,
eyes start to open to what is happening in a relationship and then
yeah,
somebody starts to keep putting that stuff in front of you. It's like, wait a minute. The thing you just said, here's how I used to interpret it, and now let me put it in my little translator dictionary.
yeah. And I mean, and it's easy, like once you cross that threshold of like, okay, this is not right. This is not right. Like, I mean, it's not like she's even realized that there's anything better because she's just been enthralled in Jasper for years, you know? And she doesn't deserve think she deserves anything better. But then when she takes herself away from the situation for a couple days and he's there at the door and she's like, oh heck no, no, you know, so yeah, I'm glad that she got to see that finally for herself. I mean, and everyone, it eventually happens for us, but you know, it can only happen on your own terms when you realize that.
It's true. It's like no matter
Hmm.
how much your friends say, this isn't you like
Yeah,
you kind of have to see it for yourself.
correct.
Um, I really relate to Iris in this movie, just everything about her. And so I want the best for her and I want her to come to this realization. And I mean, Jasper's the worst.
The worst, okay? And like we've all been there. We've all been there, okay? So I mean it is what it is. You know, we're all, you know, victim to this at one time, you know, in our life or whatever. But yeah, I'm rooting for Iris too. I can relate to Iris, but I'm a little more spazzy and Cameron Diaz kind of, you know, how I am. So
That's
but
why we're
yeah.
the perfect match for this conversation. This is so
Yes.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so I love me some Iris. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm really curious for people watching this. Are you a little more Iris? Are you a little more Amanda? Are you none of the above? Maybe the question should be, are you a little more Graham or Miles? I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell us who you identify with. So, okay. That was number nine. Let me go in with number eight. This is a perhaps more serious detail than the fettuccine. I love the honesty of Amanda and Graham's first morning after conversation. It
Yeah.
starts, they're really discombobulated. It's got that awkwardness of like, oh, you plug the coffee maker in. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I see. Um, but they very quickly get to a place where she's like, I don't fall in love. And he says, well, I hurt women by just existing.
Yeah.
It's like, but I just want to check that you're okay though, really, even though you say you're fine. Like
Yeah,
it's
they just are
going
putting up
to,
fronts. Yeah.
yeah, it's getting to a, because if this were a one night stand, they wouldn't even be having this conversation. Like one of them
Right.
would be gone already. And so it's like maybe. So it's just so interesting how quickly they get into like really kind of monitoring each other and like checking in on each other.
I mean,
And
it's like the chemistry. It's like the chemistry. I mean, and when you have a chemistry like that, I mean, you just go all in right away anyway, you know, and they've both been hurt, you know, well, hurt. And, you know, Cameron Diaz, I don't think that she thinks she deserves anything, you know, so she will walk back away right away, you know, just like, oh my God, you know, like, don't worry about this. Don't even worry about this. Like, you know, like, I don't know if you've ever been in a position like that, but like, I don't worry, I will not fall in love with you. And it's like, you never know. And
getting
he's
there
like the same.
anyway.
Yeah. And he's the same. And he's definitely doesn't want to like probably fall in love with anyone because, you know, he's suffered a loss. So yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It does feel like he kind of has his realization a bit more quickly than she, or he's willing to act on it more quickly. I
Right.
love even in this conversation, he sort of sets up the tension that's going to exist for them in the rest of the movie where he's like, yeah, this wasn't a date, I know, but so if I were to call you,
Yeah.
like just
Yeah. Yeah.
putting that out
Adorable.
there, like, or
Yeah.
like I know it's not serious, but if it were serious, like,
Yeah. Yeah. So
Aw.
yeah, I love it. Oh God, I love that movie so much. Okay, I'm ready for the next.
Yeah, okay. So that was number 8. What do you have for number 7?
I mean, I guess going on that same line, I mean, I'll wait. Hmm, let's see. There's so many. Um, I guess I'll go in on the one that I love the most because there's so many other ones. But when Jude Law walks into the bar, into the pub, and she had left already because she's like, "Ugh, I got to get out of here. This isn't working for me." He walks into the bar and he's like looking around, all adorable. Oh my gosh. And then like he's looking around and he doesn't see her. And he's like, why would I even think that I would see her here? He goes, sits with his friends, sits down, looks up, and there she is. And I mean, dreamy, the most dreamy look of his. And it's just, I mean, you can't look away from that scene. That's one of my favorite scenes of all time. So,
Me too, actually. This is one that had
mhm.
been on my list, but when we compared notes before this,
Yeah,
I
sorry.
switched mine out. The reason that was on my list is something you didn't mention, which is, well, first of all, she looks gorgeous sitting there.
Yeah,
Um, there's a song playing. I love
the
this needle
music.
drop.
Hmm.
It's called Let Go by, I think it's pronounced Frou Frou. I
Okay,
want
I
to
love
say
that.
Imogen Heap is affiliated with this. Um, that song is just like I always look forward to that part of the movie for that
Me too.
song and the way she looks and his like it's a short scene,
Hmm.
but it's just loaded.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It is just, I mean, I was watching it this morning and I'm like, my face is beaming from ear to ear. Like, it's just the medicine you need, like just the medicine you need, that movie. So yeah, I love that scene.
Yeah, and she's taking a chance with it. I
Yeah.
actually want to go from there too. I have one more Amanda point on my list. Number 6, driving on the wrong side of the road and the wrong side of the car. I have been there.
Oh
Uh,
man.
yeah, I lived in New Zealand for almost 2 years, and I had to drive, for work. And the thing is, like driving on the wrong side of the road isn't necessarily that bad, especially if you've had the chance to be a passenger in somebody else's car for a little bit, like, or watch a few movies in the country that you're in or something, TV, like to see people, just to sort of acclimate yourself to driving on the wrong side of the road. Driving on the wrong side of the car, however, was an absolute mess, mostly because of turn signal versus windshield wiper. Like I
Okay.
always got it wrong. Um,
Yeah, that sounds,
it was like a crisis every time I'd have to make a turn in the car. And like I didn't know
yeah.
where to go. I didn't know where to look for the mirrors because you're so used to that sort of habit of it. But yeah, I can relate. She did a fairly high degree of difficulty first attempt with like going down small like city
And
roads and
and driving in the snow and in a mini. Come on, man. But yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Oh
was
my
so
gosh.
cute. Yeah, it makes me laugh because I mean, it's like she is just so authentic in the movie. She just is like she acts like any other girl. And Cameron Diaz has always been any like every girl, like she grew up in Long Beach and like she's just every girl. I love her personality. I love how she is in control of her life, but she's actually not. Um, I mean, when it comes to certain things like love and, but she has it going on in every other way. So I love that scene.
I also
Yeah.
relate to the fact that she's like, I'm going to take a vacation, and then she just doesn't even know how. Like
Yeah.
it's
I
like,
mean, and I mean, it's like, like I've been, having my life for 3 years now. Like, I used to be married. I'm not married anymore. And it's like, I want to take a vacation like that. Oh my God. Like it just inspires you to want to do something like that. But I don't have the guts to do it. I want to do it. I've never done it. Never taken a trip by myself. Never taken a trip anywhere. I've never been overseas. Like, I mean, so it's just, these are some things that really, this movie inspires me to go for what I want to do. I mean, sky's the limit. um, I don't know. So I just
okay,
that yeah.
where would you go if you could go somewhere?
I would go to Japan.
Okay.
So let me take it back. I've been to Tulum and I've been to Hawaii. I've been to the Caribbean. I have never been to Europe. I feel like I really need to figure out a way to start going in that direction because I want to see things. I'm 100 years old. Like it's time for me to start doing things for myself. But yes, I want to go to Japan. and I want to take the bullet train, and I want to go to little dive restaurants in little towns and just meet people. And, you know, that's what I want to do. So,
So if anybody who's watching this, if you are in Japan or if you are somewhere in Europe and you are prepared to do a home exchange,
yes. Oh my God. I mean, and I can quote Cameron Diaz. Well, she's like, oh my God, well, I mean, it's a little bigger than yours. Like my apartment is tiny, but I live right by the beach, so it would be a good exchange. You would love it. So,
see, I
yeah.
mean, you've been training for this your whole life, Katie.
Little did I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've put that out there. That is a dream that somebody out there can satisfy.
I mean, I could go
Um,
anywhere too.
see.
You know, yeah,
Yeah.
sky's the limit. Mhm.
Well, okay, there it is. Challenge it has been put down. Let's see
Home
who accepts it.
exchange.
Hmm. So, okay, so that was number six for me.
Okay.
What do you have for number five?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. I don't know. There's so many. Okay. I love when Cameron Diaz, uh, she's like, I'm I'm too busy for complicated or whatever excuse she made to like not see him. And then she goes and gets ready and like she's wearing like a ball gown and gets to his door and like she's like, "Oh my God, happy what Merry Christmas or whatever." And like he looks really distracted and you're like, oh no, oh my God, you don't want I hope that he's not like a player, like I really, because like you're investing in Jude Law and like you do kind of underlying think that he's a player, that he has like a bunch of chicks, but then all of a sudden it's his two little daughters. And then that whole scene is just, I love it so much because Cameron Diaz again is just like so authentic and like, and she's like, well, everything but the wine, like she's like, you guys can go through the grocery bag. I mean, everything but the wine. Oops. And like, but she's just so cute and she's like so approachable and she's so great with the girls and just love that, love that. And then when he, finally says, I'm a widower, she's like, is there a woman here? Oh my God, tell me fast. And like, he's like, no, I'm a widower. And she's like shocked, but like I don't think she really knows what to do with that information yet because there's the kids coming in and it's just like so many new layers piling onto her and she's like, oh, what do I do? I wanted this, but do I? And so love
She
that.
adapts really well in that situation.
Hmm.
Like there is a lot of information coming to her very quickly.
Yeah.
I yeah, the whole reveal that the other women have been his kids the whole time was such a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. And the girls who played Sophie and Olivia were so adorable and so they had really good chemistry with each other,
Hmm.
which I think really adds to the whole sort of magical thing about it, and they
Yeah.
accept her so readily and so quickly. Like
And
they've
just like the
been
Three
waiting for their
Musketeers.
dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like, and then she's like, I love when we have girls over. He never has any friends over. And she's like, I know. Like and they're just holding hands and looking at the stars in their tent. And it's just like, oh my gosh, so cute. They're adorable. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, this is I it may not always work this way, but it's such a lovely depiction of like these girls want their dad to be happy
Yeah.
and they can see that he's been lonely.
Yeah.
And so this feels very complete to them right away, and
Hmm.
Amanda feels like a good piece of the puzzle to put in place.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just fits. She has to do a lot of processing very quickly, but he also understands that and he's like trying to whatever degree he can give her the space to do that,
Yeah.
even when they're right next to each other and the girls want more of Amanda. He's like, like give her a second.
I mean, and even
um
just even with the girls not in it, but the two together, like when he's like, and I have a cow, and she's like, you have a cow, and he's like, yeah, how is that for relatable? And she's like, pretty up there, and she's like, you can see her thinking to herself, like, this is never gonna work. This is never gonna work. But he seems like such a great guy, so just I don't know, just
yeah.
love it. Hmm.
Oh my goodness, it's so good. Okay, so that's number five. For number four, it's time for me to get back to Iris.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm just gonna stay on Iris for the rest of this, really. But this time, Iris and Arthur. I love that Arthur says to her, "You're the leading lady. but you're behaving like the best friend. And he
Yes.
keeps doing this thing around gumption, and he's like building a muscle in her.
Hmm.
It's like he's reprogramming her in a way that
Yeah,
she needs actually, to stand up, to be able to stand up for herself later. So we're gonna
absolutely.
see it pay off in this movie, but I just love the way he put that, and it's so exactly the way Arthur should put it because he's so in the movie world. So,
Right.
you're the leading lady. Stop acting like the best friend.
Yes,
So
and
good.
just him talking about what a meet cute is, and like a meet cute. Oh my God, everyone wants one. And I mean, I've had a few in in my life, and they're just magical experiences. And like their meet cute. I mean, like everyone's meet cute. Miles and Iris. When the Santa Anas and all bets are off, and like I can relate to that because Santa Anas. Like we all can from LA, and oh my God, they added that to the movie. It's just such a great detail. And, and then, like the chemistry between Miles and Iris, and they come together, but then he has this hot girlfriend, you know. But like he's like, oh, let me get it out for you. And it's like a really intimate, cute moment where he's trying to pluck the eyelash out of her eye. And he's like, Santa Ana's, all bets are off. And it's like every time the Santa Ana's come around in my life, I'm like, all bets are off to this day from that movie. It's just such a great scene. Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
I love that. There's so many things about it. This movie is have infused into your world.
Yeah.
Um, and I think this all like just I really do understand Iris, I feel like, in this movie. So like
Hmm.
the whole way that she approaches things with Miles, like it's interesting to think about the difference of the dynamic between Amanda and Graham, which is very physical from the beginning, and then you
Hmm.
look at something like Iris and Miles, and they have more of a friend to lovers sort of a situation.
Which is
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, and I understand that process more.
Hmm.
So like to see it start in this way is, I don't know, it's really sweet. They're there for each other right from the
Right.
beginning in the ways that they need, and that evolves over time.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
that was number 4 for me, but what do you have for number 3?
Um, oh gosh. I love the part when Jasper comes to the door, and then she's like comes to her senses, and then she finally is like, you have to go. And like, there's the door, and closes the door on him. And you could just feel all the tension and stuff like get off of her. And she's like, oh my God, I am worth it. Like, this is what gumption is. Okay, I got this. And like, the minute that she closed the door on that guy, although she loved him, that her life gets exponentially better. I'm so happy for her because she like found her strength, So I love that. I love that part.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
hope a lot of us have had the experience of like when you let something go that's been weighing you down, the way you feel.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
it feels like it should be a subtraction, but it's actually somehow an addition. It like
Right.
unleashes you to do other things in your life, and we're getting to see that moment for Iris. And I'm not usually a person who notices clothing very much. But she has this like cardigan, like it's this long sweater on there that I always
Mhm.
thought Kate Winslet looks so cool wearing that.
Oh my gosh.
I like instantly went out. I have like several now. I'm like, none of them look exactly like that, and they don't fit like that on me. But that's okay because I channel Kate Winslet in this
Yeah.
movie. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh.
Out
Yeah.
of all the movies, Kate Winslet has ever done, this is my favorite movie 1,000 times over. In every one of those actors movies repertoires, this is my favorite movie. All of their characters are so amazing. They all just have such layers. They're so rich. It's just like you can relate to each of them. You can relate to Arthur. You can relate to Arthur's friends. You can relate to all of them. So I really love all these characters. They're pretty awesome.
I agree. This
Hmm.
this is like the top role for me for all of them. Kate Winslet, there's kind of a lot of competition for that because she's done so many amazing movies. I mean,
But you're
like,
used to like
what a
seeing her
career.
But you're used to seeing her like in such a serious
Yeah,
position, and she's like so vulnerable and like she's so reachable, and you like, oh my God, we could be besties. Like we could be, me and Iris could be besties. Me and Cameron Diaz could be besties, but like in different ways, you know? You just
yeah,
love Iris so much, and it just gave us an opportunity to see her as just like a regular chick going through problems, you know, not like on the Titanic and what, you know, like all the other movies that she does. She's just relatable, open, honest, and that's what I love about her character in this movie.
yeah. And I love Graham. I love Jude Law in this movie as well. I've
Me
been
too.
debating whether
Mhm.
to tell this story or not, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Ooh.
The first time I actually ever saw Jude Law in anything, so I was
Hmm.
young. I grew up in New York.
Hmm.
And I was really young, and we had a family member visiting, and we decided to go into New York City, and we wanted to see a play. And, we didn't have a ton of money, so we were going to go to something like off Broadway. And there was this little place you could get discount tickets. It was like the TKTS booth, I think, at the time.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
you would stand in line and you'd wait, and then you'd get what you get, really. Like by the time you got to the front,
Right.
it was like, we've got these three things. And so you'd pick, and there was this play called Indiscretions that was available, and my parents were like, all right, I guess this one is fine. We didn't know a thing about it.
Hmm.
And so we go to this play, and Kathleen Turner was the lead, and Jude Law was in it.
Oh,
And
okay.
he was in like a young romantic couple. So I think it was the second act. The curtain comes up, and two characters are in a bathtub. They have a whole scene in a bathtub. Just there's
Okay.
a bathtub in the middle of the stage. They're doing this whole scene, and then well into the scene, the man stands up and he's naked.
Okay.
And uh and we're pretty far back, and I'm really young, and my parents like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And the women behind, there's these old women behind me, who's one of them's like, turns to her friend, she's like, that's what I came here to see. And I remember this so well, but I didn't know who the actor was. We were really far away, and it was this like humiliating moment for my parents. We're like, we can't believe we've taken our kids to this. And so years later, I went to the movies with my sister. We watched The Talented Mr. Ripley, and Jude Law comes on screen, and I was like, hey, I know him from somewhere.
Nice.
She's like, you really don't. And I was like, no, but I think I do. And when we got home, I checked, we still had the playbill. And I was like, no, I did know him. It's Jude Law.
Wow.
It's like, so I can't separate that memory. And yet somehow, like, he's so incredibly wholesome
Yeah.
in so many of the roles that I've seen him in since, including in this movie.
Hmm.
So like I don't know, but that's my Jude Law story, and
Oh
it's
my
like
God, I
this
wish I
really
had one.
formative situation. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, I love him in this movie.
Yeah, I love him in this movie. I love everyone in this movie. Literally, I love everyone in this movie. So I just I'm looking over right now and they're about to give Arthur his award.
Oh,
Oh.
oh
So
my
I love that
gosh.
part too. Yeah, it's just yeah. So I also okay, go ahead. Or I'm like
No, that
getting ahead
was
of myself. No, because I was just thinking about the part, I don't know if it's my turn, but I'm thinking about the part when they're in Blockbuster Video and like they're like picking out all the movies that they need to watch, and then like you see the superficial girlfriend in the window, and like but it's like you said, they already have like they have like a physical chemistry too, but like they're not conquering that yet. They have like more of a friendship chemistry, and it's like Iris is has always been the one to be like, oh my gosh, well, why don't you go see her, go talk to her, you know, and like she and like that makes me feel like, you know, I would love to be like that, you know, just kind of like have a relationship that's so strong where, hey, if you need to rectify that or go work it out with her. I know you love her, like go ahead. And then like Iris is just off to the back, like just like, you know, like I like him, but I don't. And I mean, she does like him, but she doesn't want to. Yeah. And just, he goes off with the girl. And then when they, you know, get back together in the awards, it's just like, it's just so great. The great
yeah,
scene.
yeah.
Hmm.
Because he's been in Arthur's training program too this whole time. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Hmm.
Well, okay, so we did number three for you. Do you still have one for number one later?
Um, I'll have to think about it. Probably.
Okay,
I have
so
so many.
number two for me. And this is on the same theme. Just Miles wrote a melody for Iris using only the
Mm,
good notes.
yeah. Yeah,
Ah,
I love
it's
that. I love
so
that so much
good.
because it's so cute and he's just so like wholesome and cute and like you want a little squishy like that, like he's just such a good guy. So, but and he's been
That
dogged
whole
out too.
scene,
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
fact that they like he's got this a beautiful song for Arthur. He created one for Iris because he can't stop thinking about this woman. He used only the good notes, and then he does his little like doodly doo thing, and she's
Um,
doing it too. They're speaking in
yeah.
the same language now. I
Hmm.
mean, talk about just melting when you watch a scene.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and it's like, oh, and I also love the scene where and I can just relate to this too, like where Cameron Diaz is like driving up to the house for the first time and he's like, "Oh my God, ma'am, can you get out here?" And she's like, "No." And like and then she has to walk and she has like her fancy shoes on and she's like, "Oh, yeah, so cute." Oh,
oh my gosh.
they're about to sing
Well,
about each other.
okay, so was that number one for you, or do you want to do something else for number one?
My number one, another number, I guess a number one is when Amanda finally cries in the taxi and then she realizes and then she goes back and like he's there and like they want to make it work out, so I love that. I love that part so much. It's just the best. So,
Yeah, what a beautiful like visual thing for us to have. Because as somebody in the audience, you can watch her throughout this movie and she keeps having this panic response. Her
hmm,
body is physically reacting to things. It's just
yeah,
that she's not crying, but she is
right.
having physical reactions the whole time. And you
Mm,
can see it, even though she's saying like I haven't cried. It's like yeah, but you're having like the beginnings of an anxiety attack right now. Maybe a
yeah.
panic attack. It's not escalating, but like
And yeah,
you're
she's just
having a
so
physical
she's
reaction.
so conditioned in her lifestyle and like that fast LA lifestyle to just like compartmentalize all of your feelings and like she's never had an opportunity probably to explore these feelings, and then like she's forced into it when she gets to England. But so she's really good at masking herself and then when she starts having these feelings and then like when she's like, "Oh my God, like I haven't cried ever since then." And he's like, "Wait, you haven't cried?" And she's like, "No." And then when she finally cries, like it's just like she's given in and like I'm so happy for her when she finally cries because her body is finally like slowing down and like out of like that fight or flight. And I'm not talking about fight or flight like hurt feelings or anything. I'm just like talking about her lifestyle. Like she owns a multi-million-dollar company. She has the best of the best. She can go do anything, go anywhere, wear the fanciest clothes, like, but she can't cry. So
And she doesn't
I
slow
love
down
that.
enough to even be in touch with it. And she's managed to explain everything to herself in a way that makes her more connected to her thoughts than her feelings. So
Right.
to be able to have that moment and be like, oh, this is happening because of Graham.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I
Oh my
shouldn't
God.
leave.
Yes.
Um, yeah, it's oh, this is such a beautiful movie.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's definitely a fantasy in every way. Like almost every detail about this movie couldn't happen. Like
Yeah,
the whole Arthur
maybe.
storyline, I'm like,
Hmm.
nope, that wouldn't like none of the things that happened for him would happen here in the timeline that they're happening. But
Right.
also you just immerse yourself in it because it's
Yes.
just so beautiful. And I think the point of it is the fairy tale of it.
Yeah.
And like that maybe those matches exist for all of us.
Right.
So uh it's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It's so
Um,
good.
so that's our list of 10 things more than 10 things really that we love about
Yeah.
this movie. The question for everybody watching is what's on your list? What do you love about this movie? Could be things we mentioned that you want to mention again, or it could be something that we haven't talked about, but I'd love to know that, and I'd love to know who you relate to the most in the movie, if anybody. So feel free to jump into the comments and share that with us. Before we close this out, Katie, is there anything that you want to plug or that you want to share that's maybe coming up for you? This is, February 28th.
Let me give you a little Cliff's Notes. I'm still a cookie maker. I did close my bakery. We all know this, but I do make cookies from home. I'm still taking orders. I'm still in the midst of my divorce. I really want that rectified so I can kind of like move on with my life. You can see I'm like a lot more healed than I was last year at this time. And I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life next. Um, I'm open to any opportunity. Like I'm looking for a job. I really want to take care of myself. Like I don't want to be dependent on anyone. Um, but like that's my goal is just to be dependent on myself, try to find something that I love to do. I actually took a job for as a Christmas decorator, interior designer decorator for the holidays. And I loved that. I'm actually going to be like soft launching a new company called the Spruce Wreath. And I'm going to do high-end like holiday wreaths for any holiday. I really wanted to do some for Valentine's Day, but I think I'm going to gear more towards the 4th of July for my first wreaths. So I'm doing that too. I'm just, like putting my hands in everything and I'm just saying yes to everything. I'm taking the donut. I'm not leaving it there on the table. I'm taking the donut. And like I'll do anything. I'm down for anything,
And you're
including going to
available for
Japan.
home exchanges. If somebody
Yes.
wants to come to Hermosa Beach, this is your person to talk to. Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
All you
I
have to do
mean,
is take care of a little Frenchie. His name is Juan, and walk him a couple times a day. I live right on the beach, and yeah, you can't beat it.
is
So
that so much to ask? This is so good. Well, hopefully opportunities come your way from this, from
thank
people
you.
who are
Thank you.
listening. So for those who are loving rom-com month, I mean, granted, this is the last day of it. We've had an entire month before this, so if you're just finding out about it, go back, watch some of the other movies on the list. But actually, today's a double feature, because sometimes we have a February 29th. And
Yeah.
so I thought, what better thing to do than to watch the movie Leap Year from
Ooh,
2010, which stars Amy Adams, Matthew Good, Adam Scott. So that's going to be a really fun one. If you feel like traveling to Ireland, this is a good way to
sure.
do it without going yet. Just to see if you want to go, maybe just feel like you traveled. This is a great wanderlust movie. Ireland looks so beautiful in this film. So this will be a really fun one as well. And, I hope that you'll all join me for that today or whenever you get to it. In the meantime, happy rom-com month, everybody. Get
Yes, and I
love.
really yes, and I really appreciate you, Melissa. This is awesome. It's always a fun time. I love seeing what you do. Keep it up. You're doing an awesome job.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you so much for
you're
that.
welcome.
And to everybody who's watching this, go out there, get love, get donuts.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.